Hello world, Stanley Scott, a founding member of the African American Economic Recovery Think Tank. Once again, I'm here to talk to you about African American leadership, the lack of African American leadership in these days and time. For the last 40 plus years, African American leadership has been absent in the African American community. Our leadership has been so consumed with their needs and wants that they have forgot about the rest of us. And then you're going to have some people that come to you right away and say, well, be your own leader. And that's true. You can be an individual leader where you're concerned about self and others in your family, your community. But you also need a cohesive, collective leadership that direct the community, the spiritual part of the community, emotional part, the mental part of the community, and the physical part of the community. But today, our leadership is comatose, ignorant, apathetic to the needs of the African American community. And then when you challenge them with factual information, they try to overtalk you or act like you don't know what you're talking about. But they are not concerned, because if they was, they would be ringing the bell, especially when it comes to education, rebuilding the family, healthcare prevention, and building wealth. You don't see that in our community. My mentor, Mr. Edward Exxon, tell me all the time, we pick up all the bad things that the Caucasian community does, but none of the good things. And that's true. He also tell me that we are the only people in America that buy what we want and beg for what we need. That paradigm must change. And it can change. We can rise up and take our community back. But in order to achieve that goal, you need open-minded, compassionate, empathetic leadership in the African American community. Because we have all the resources we need to change our community. But the leadership, the present leadership, and that's the leadership from the 60s that is still looking for accolades from the 60s and the 70s. They have received all the accolades they need. If they was genuine and sincere about changing the community, they would be sharing wisdom and working on building up new leadership with our youth who are ready to go. The African American youth are ready to go. But when they look up, they see nothing. No leadership whatsoever. The only time they see the African American leadership is when they have a gala, like most major organizations, the NAACP, SCLC, the Urban League. And most time they give out awards to athletes, entertainers. When we have so many African Americans in the medical field, educational field, business field, they're doing great things. But they don't highlight those African Americans. So we must take the time out this year and take a real look at our leadership, especially our religious leadership and our political leadership. Our religious leadership is one of the most ignorant components in African American leadership, because they continue to talk about religion or Bible that they know very little about, a book, a Bible that was created and written by our oppressor. Religion has caused more wars and killed more people than any other issue in the world. Any other cause, religion and politics. Let's talk about politics. African American political leaders does not care about the African American community. They'll come around when it's election time and say they're going to do this, they're going to do that. But as soon as they are elected, you hear no more from them. They don't have town hall meetings. They don't return your calls. They don't return your emails. They're not concerned. But as long as we continue to vote for people who are popular or for a party, we're going to be always trapped in our situation and continue to fall off the cliff. When it comes to business, we have reported, it's been reported that we have 1.8 million African American businesses. 1.6 million of them only have one employee, the owner. We must move away from minority business, set aside programs, and learn to look at the opportunities in our own community and build from there. But all that is come up under leadership. When you have empathetic leadership that is committed to the community, they make sure that you get the right information. They direct you in the right way. They help you answer the issues and deal with the issues in your community. Because the light is always on. But today, as we look around all over the African American community, nationwide, there's no light on. No one is ringing the bell. And then they allow us to continue to go down the road saying that it's some magic white man holding us down. And part of that may be true. But since 1970, the pathology in our community has been self-inflicted. Now we can talk about generational trauma from slaverism. We can talk about Willie Lynch, Jim Crow, and all that's true. It's factual. But we cannot allow that, what had happened to us in the past, to hold us back. If anything, we should allow that history to strengthen us to move forward, to reach out and take charge of our lives and do more for each other in our community. But as we continue to sit back and wait on Jesus, wait on some magic white man, some magic black man to come out of nowhere and save us, that's not going to happen. We must look at what we have in our community. We should support leadership, whether it be on the political side, the educational side, the religious side, or the business side. And support those components and make things happen in our community. But until we believe in picking ourselves up by our own bootstraps, whatever we have, whatever resources that we have available to us, and bring it together in a collective effort, we are continue to be on autopilot. That's what we on, people. We on autopilot, self-destruction. And long as we continue to go down this road, that's where we're heading. And if we don't make this change in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to be in the same condition at the Indian on some reservation. So I'm asking you today here to think about what I'm saying. Make comments. Let me know how you feel. But we need to take a serious look at our leadership. Forget about the Democratic parties, the Republican Party, and let's focus on what we can do for ourselves. Because as long as we continue to be consumers and buying what we want and begging for what we need, we're going to leave a legacy for our kids where they have to walk around with their head down. And that's what we have today. There's too many of us walking around with our head down, waiting on Jesus to do something for us, waiting on God, instead of picking ourselves up and doing something for ourselves. So from this point forward, new leadership is what we need. We need proactive leadership, not reactive leadership. And I want to thank all the leaders of the past and the present who have put their lives on the line, who have stood out front when an issue came up in our community. But we need to take charge before issue come up in our community, because we all know what's wrong with our community. Once we remove denial and apathy away from our eyes and become serious about changing our community, then we can talk. Then we can be concerned about what's going on the other side of the fence. But right now we need to stay on this side of the fence, concentrate on what we need to concentrate on in our community, in our homes, learn to get along with each other, stop holding these grudges and falling out, and take the resources we have to build what we need and want. So, once again, I want to thank you for your time. Stanley Scott, founder member of the African American Economic Recovery Think Tank, sending out much love to you, your family, and your community. Good night.